welcome you back to our program. On Fridays here on Channel 6 News, we have the pleasure of talking with one of the board members from United Laguna Hills Mutual. Joining us today, Mr. Jack Bassler, who is with his second tour of duty on United Mutual, also some time on the Golden Reign as well. You're currently serving as first vice president. You're also chairing the Maintenance and Construction Committee. Yes. Projects that are going on, and I know a big one right now is that lighting update going on in United Mutual.
Right. That's mainly what I have to talk about this morning, is that this project that I have a record of, staff provided me with a rundown of dates. That, and the first one they gave me was 2002 when we started this program to improve the lighting, and of course the thing is still going on. There's a group called the Let There Be Light that's been very patient with us in trying to get this problem solved, because the way they feel is that there's a safety issue here, and people want to go out at night and take a walk, then they should be able to do that safely. Mm-hmm. So that's mainly what the purpose is. And in 2002, as I mentioned, we started a program that never went anywhere. 2009, again, we went out for a lighting consultant. That was dropped because of the costs, mainly. And in 2002, we got another report about what could be done. And then again in 2010, we got a subject report that showed how we could implement 3 different alternatives. One was fluorescent, one was metal halide, and one was LEDs. And of course, LEDs is preferred nowadays. But the costs, again, were just too much. So here we go again in 2012. We have just received bids. And again, they've turned out too expensive. So how to solve the problem is something we still have to get at. And we're having a special meeting, as you might have mentioned, right after this meeting, or right after this show. And we're going to go ahead and start over again.
I understand that a couple of years ago you actually had 3 demonstration lights. You mentioned the 3 different types, so people could look at them, kind of look at how much they illuminated the walkway, and just the aesthetics of the light themselves. And the folks kind of voted on one of those 3 lights. Right. I understand subsequently that particular light is not available now as well. So there's all kind. I guess it wasn't UL approved or something.
Well,
so.
It was not. That's right. It was not UL approved, and of course the cost was like $675 per fixture. So we had to go look for something else, and then so they went out for with an addendum to the contractors with a less expensive light, which is still like $218
per fixture. Wow.
Yeah, per fixture. And it turns out, though, which I didn't realize until just yesterday when I met with a staff member, that it's not just the fixture here. The fixtures are like 1/4 of the cost. There's all this wiring and digging and new conduit, and we don't have to do that. We can go ahead and use what's there.
Yeah.
But while we're at it, I wonder if we should go ahead and do it right.
Well, in some cases, you're dealing with wiring that's between 45 and 50 years old, and I know when they rebuilt the cable system a few years ago, they found out that the original wiring, at least for the cable system, was not done in conduit. It is now. With the rebuild, it was put in conduit. But originally, back in the 60s, they dug a trench, laid the cable, covered it up with dirt. So I imagine you're finding some of that same reality in United, that there wasn't conduit used for those lights originally.
That's true. I think there is some conduit.
Some, yeah.
But you're right.
So that's going to add to the cost as well. Other projects that are going on down by Clubhouse 3, I know that particular cul-de-sac, I believe it's 67, has had some flooding issues the last several years. Some gates have been installed, and some pumps and some channeling and some of that kind of thing. You're doing even more work in that area this year, and that includes not only some water control issues, but some signage changes as well, which might be prototypes for the future.
Yeah. What that cul-de-sac was picked out as a pilot project for implementation of a lot of the items that are in our master plan.
Right.
And we can't do them all. Already one of the items, which was a gathering area, that has been eliminated because the people in the area didn't want it. And you'd have these tables sitting out there with people eating and so forth. They didn't care for that. So that won't happen. But there are things that have happened, like there's a new stone wall at the entrance. They've built a hump as you drive in, because that has to do with the flooding.
Right.
To keep the water from going into that parking lot. Mm-hmm. That was part of the problem.
Right.
And that has been done with pavers, which looks really nice. So that whole entrance there is really kind of in accordance with this new master plan.
And obviously, when you do a study, and especially when you bring in outside consultants, mm-hmm. they always have these great ideas and the newest and the greatest and the latest. And these pavers, we see those being used outside in the local communities around here as well. So they do look nice. And sometimes they sort of blue sky it, as we say, mm-hmm. come up with some great ideas. And then the reality comes when the board has to sit down and say, how much is this going to cost? How much of our reserves are we going to have to dip into to make this work? And that's obviously when things maybe get changed a little bit.
Yeah, that's one of the problems we have with going ahead with everything in this pilot program here on this one cul-de-sac, was that the sign picked out for that is one that costs almost $1,000. That was the entrance into the cul-de-sac.
Right.
And so we think we should kind of relook at that before we go ahead, because why put one up as a indication of what we're going to do throughout if that's not what we're going to do, mm-hmm. you know? And there's also another sign that I think we should have, which would become, I think, not every cul-de-sac, but ones that certainly need it, are the signs with a map on them to tell you where these places are.
Exactly.
If you've ever tried to find, okay.
Been there, yeah. Anybody that's lived or worked here knows that the signing, the numbering system can be confusing at times on that.
Right.
Well, I know we had Mr. Belderon, your president, a few weeks ago, and he was saying that there's actually a committee being formed of Golden Reign, United, and Third to look at signage throughout the community.
That's right.
Possible font changes, possible color changes, to hopefully have more uniformity, but also to communicate better, not only cul-de-sacs, but where the clubhouses are and some of those kind of things. So that'll be community-wide, and maybe that'll help to establish a standard that works for everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping too, is that we do something like that. It should be throughout the community.
Right.
So, yeah.
Those two projects, we talked about the lighting and cul-de-sac 67. What else is on the burner for United this year? Other things you're involved with?
I'm trying to think of. Let's see, lighting.
So the lighting is the big one, it sounds like.
Yeah, that is the big one that's kind of got everybody's attention.
And then some of these areas that were turf are being turned into like garden areas or a little bit lower water usage areas as well. I know Third is having a big problem with water usage. United, maybe not quite as dire a situation there.
Yeah. By the way, on the cul-de-sac 67, a question's been asked about. You know, they did put in this. Fix this drainage thing this that goes through that property, and the person asked a question about maintaining it, and the part of the deal is that the PCM will be as part of it, they're going to, as a regular thing, every year clean it.
The drain.
So put that at rest.
That's been some of the issues in the past, of the drains actually plugging up with leaves and other debris and not able to drain the water off, so
that's
causing some of the flooding. Yeah. Thanks for coming by today. Good to have you with us. I know you have to run to that meeting this morning in the boardroom, so thanks for coming by, and we'll see you back here in a month.
Okay,
Appreciate you being with us. Hang on for a second. I'll get your mic off, and we'll get you on your way. Okay. Jack Bassler, First Vice President of United Mutual and chairs their M&C committee, and he'll be back with us in a few weeks with another report on what his department is doing. And we'll be right back with you folks with more guests after this.